With less than 4 weeks until Election Day, here to give us a check on the mood of the country, let's welcome Harvard University's Arthur Brooks, American Enterprise Institute President Emeritus. He's a columnist for The Atlantic, a podcast host. We'll have a little time left after this for the interview. And author of Build the Life You Want. Thanks for joining us. And actually, I was just looking up some of my favorites from all the books you've written to see how old it was. One of your greats was The Road to Freedom as opposed to The Road to Serfdom.
Yeah, thanks.
On that. That's 12 years old now.
Yeah.
There's another one in that. There's another one you wrote in about 2012. The reason I brought it up, because we're going to talk about staying away from hyper-partisan news, and that's what you think can help happiness, because election years, people are much less happy.
They're less happy. You know,
more
it's actually
unhappy.
True.
But you think I don't see how you stay away from your own echo chamber, because people now, we won't mention individual, cable channels or whatever, but we know who they are on each side. Yeah. And we know that if you find a home in one or the other, you're going to hear a lot of hyper-partisan stuff.
Yeah, you're going to get a lot of the same action in your brain as if you were running a slot machine or taking drugs when you're watching your favorite cable channel and people telling you you're right and the other side's stupid and evil. And that's how it's supposed to work. If you're hating because of politics, you've become the product. That's the point. And we productized the voters and the citizens in this country through the political parties and through, a lot of the media, especially the hyper-partisan media shows. And we actually need to start protecting ourselves. These years, every 4 years, you see less happiness than ordinarily is the case because of all the conflict. I mean, it's really, really extreme right now. If you're somebody who says, I'm very interested in politics, that will raise the amount, the percentage points in your likelihood of saying you're not happy about your life by 8. You'll go up by 8 percentage points to saying I'm not happy about my life just because you say I'm very interested in politics. That's according to the General Social Survey at University of Chicago. It's unbelievable. And every news show about politics that you watch, each additional show that you watch every day will lower your happiness by 6%. That's what's going on.
I have to take you off the air right now.
Well, that's why this show doesn't lower happiness.
Thank you.
Because this is not a partisan show. And it's really important people can watch this. That's why I watch this.
Maybe it doesn't
take it back. Now run promo with that line.
Maybe it doesn't make, maybe for viewers, doesn't make them less happy. The reason I brought up when you wrote that book, I'll tell you why. Because in the first 2 books that I read, there was the other one too, and I paid, the old
Conservative Heart.
The old story I paid Andrew to read.
Dollar word.
Dollar page.
Dollar page. But he charged him for the index.
Charged me for the appendix.
$1 a word, you'd be making like $75,000 for
dollar page.
Yeah.
I'll pay you $1 a word if you read it again. I will. No, but
I have that on?
Yeah, you can. The reason one of your basic tenets of both of those books was that the United States is center-right, deep down. That's where we are. There is I don't know whether you call it a silent majority or what you call it. And the reason I was going to ask you that today is I wonder if that's changed over the last 12 years, because I'm not really, there has been such an influx in colleges, in news, and generation, whatever the hell generation they are, that are 15 to 30. Now, I'm wondering whether it's not center. I'm not convinced it is center.
Well, it depends on what center-right means. So with the United States, average citizens in the United States who live in normal places with normal jobs and normal families are sort of pro-everything. They're pro-capitalism, they're pro-military, they're pro-family, they're pro-religion.
You're not describing what I see on the coast.
Yeah, it turns out that, right here in New York City, it's not exactly the same.
But I would also say, talk about just like a popular election. So that's the part I'm unclear about. See, because if you look at the popular vote in America, take the Electoral College away,
and
I'm not sure you would get to center-right.
We have a binary. We have binary elections where basically the political parties are not saying pro. The political parties are on the anti-side. They're saying that I'm against this, I'm against them, I'm against what you said, I'm against everything. Why? Because in the short term, if you fire people up with hate and contempt and anger and fear, which is the basic negative emotions in the limbic system of the brain, they will react very quickly the way that you want. That's how you productize the voters, and that's what the parties and media are doing.
Well, Kevin McCarthy was here yesterday. He said sort of the same thing, that we are running an election campaign on what I'm not.
Yes.
That tends to be more
it's
the issues.
Not,
that he would like
not.
to see next election cycle 3 debates carved out with different issues that people sit down and are able to watch and go through it.
Yeah.
What's the impetus to ever get back to that, though, if it's not what keeps people in power?
Yeah, well, and what happens is that they'll be going hammer and tongs using very, very, very short-term tactics. And we don't have, when we're in a cycle of dueling bullies with fear as the main tool, this is what you're going to see. And what happens usually, what breaks through ultimately when we're in this kind of suboptimal equilibrium, that's how economists like me talk, that you'll have somebody who will actually break through a long time beforehand and bring more positive politics to the table.
Like
we're just not seeing it. We haven't seen that. We haven't seen that since 2012. But we will again.
Can I ask a question about the sort of against or for?
Right.
So one of the major issues of this campaign this year, specifically, and we talk a lot about business here, but is the social issue about abortion.
Right.
That's what it is. And there's a whole group of Americans who think that their rights are effectively being taken away. Right?
Right.
They're against that.
They
are demonstrably against that.
Mm-hmm.
There is no way to talk about that issue.
Right.
I think.
Well, you can't talk
in
about
a way where you can say we are for something because somebody who thinks that they have a certain set of rights and that they no longer are going to have said rights.
Yes.
By default, has to be against
there
that.
are always going to be things like that.
So the question is how are we debate taxes.
Right.
You can have a philosophical debate about whether 25% or 28% or 15% is better. I think we can all sort of deal with some of that, right? Because it's in a way it's all on the margins, right? There are other issues where people feel like it is a visceral distinction because they think that they either have a right, don't have a right, should have a right, or what have you.
You know that there's a whole, maybe it's a smaller percentage now as time goes on, but there might be 25 or 30% of people that think that the rights lie with the unborn. So they have a very visceral, strong feeling for that as well. You can't just discount that.
I'm not discounting it. I'm just saying that
I've said it before. I'm adopted. I have mixed. I mean, I don't want people to go back to the dark ages, but I think about it that my kids wouldn't be here, and I think about I'm glad that I'm here. You know what I mean? And I'm glad that my mother didn't have the option back then. Believe it or not, I'm glad that at that point in 1956 that I was able to. So there are people, and like I'm saying, it's a complex issue, and I'm not saying women need to start going back to the way it was before. They need to have that right, but you need to think about it, that there are people that think when you hit the cosmic lottery and your recombination creates you, it'd be nice to be able to fulfill that and to live, and I'm glad I was able to do it. I'm glad my kids
you're living too.
I'm glad my kids were able.
How wonderful! But the whole point is that both sides of that debate are pro-life and pro-choice. That's the whole point. And when it's actually working in a more of a functional way, one side is saying I'm in favor of the life of the unborn baby, and the other one is saying I'm in favor of a woman's right to choose, as opposed to the constant, the way that it will be fomented in an election cycle is I'm against you because you disagree with me. So it's fundamentally a pro-debate as well. Both sides are in favor of something that is not compatible with each other, and that's how we work things out.
You think that if somebody does offer a message of here's what I stand for, here's how I can offer you hope on these things, that will break through?
At some point, Americans are going to get sick enough of being unhappy all the time, being productized by the parties through hate, contempt, and fear, that somebody will have an opportunity to do that. That's what Ronald Reagan was able to do. Ronald Reagan was fundamentally, look, he was against a number of things, but fundamentally his candidacy was about being for things.